Hi everyone and welcome to the video, but I have something to tell you. We're not going to work on this per se today, and a couple reasons. The frames, I ran out, so I don't have one to show you with my album. And I really want to show you how this gets hooked on and the shakers get put in there so that if you're especially a newbie, you know. But you guys are great. You went over and you just bought them all out. So next Thursday, because everything, the new frames, if you're waiting, will be here Monday, and more pearls. All that will be here Monday, and they may even be here tomorrow. But we'll go ahead and do this next week. So I really wanted to go through a couple of things with you. This waterfall was very confusing when I taught it. No surprise. I can do that at times, be very confusing. And I've been playing with it a lot and you may have already seen, I don't know. All I know is I feel I have simplified this for someone like me who gets confused very easily. So I want to share it with you. We're going to make a couple of different waterfalls. But before we do that, I got some other things to show you, and I'm super excited about them. So, but today on the waterfall, I'm going to show you, like I said, a couple of different sizes. I think some easy tips because I do get a lot of messages. I know I'm confusing. And I think this is going to really make it so simple, even for me now. I don't even need to look back and see how I created something. I can just make this, and you're going to like it. And we're going to do a bigger one that's 7 inches wide, 5, and we're going to do a 4x6. But then we're going to do another 4x6 that has these 12 to show you how I feel that it's really simplified it. So we're going to play with waterfalls and some ideas for that. And I'm going to show you some new papers because you haven't seen them all. Now, on Sunday, let me put our album aside for right now. We don't need it. On Sunday, and I know Sally has already shown this, is our new releases. So I'm not going to show you A Mother's Love again. And this is the one with the Singer sewing machine and the darling, very, very vintage images. So Sally did show this on her live, and she even showed a project with it. So sorry about the glare because I don't want to take it out. It's just gorgeous. You're going to love this. Then the Craftology box, and the other one is called Bloom Were Planted. So this project's almost done. Now, if you've gotten the Craftology box, no, you haven't. Well, if you've purchased it, it's been shipped. But the Bloom Were Planted, I'll be doing this project with all of you, not just the Craftology box. So I've created these cards with this card holder that you are going to, I'll be doing the tutorial for this on the 21st. So everybody has a chance to get their Craftology box and for me to finish it. And this is Bloom Were Planted, and it's going on sale when Sunday. And I just used these aren't in the Craftology box, there's yellow ones, but I think you use all yours for Sandy's. You can use your scraps for these. And this is a tall, the slim line, I guess, or tall skinny. And this, I used our cute little wobble thingies. They're fun to play with too, the little wobbles. So I'm going to be doing these cards with you on the 21st. And again, this came about. I was talking with our new design team member, Sherry, and she told me about a crafter. I can't remember his first name, but his last name's Ford. And he shows, not this way, I reversed it, and how he does. So I'm going to show it to you too. You guys already may know him. His name's, like I said, Ford. I can't remember his first name. I'm so sorry. Anyway, she showed this to me, but look how, it's just so gorgeous, you guys. I feel like Sally, but see, it's a side, so you can stand it up. And it's hard to see, but it becomes a display piece. Paul Ford. Thank you, Caroline. Paul Ford shows this. And I thought, how gorgeous for this, because I want it to stand as a decoration piece. But then it's a beautiful card, too. And then a place for your picture, sentiment. Thank you, Paul Ford. I didn't want to call him Paula Ford. His name's Paul Ford, and he did this card. So I recreated it. And then this one is, you've seen a lot of these cards like this. Again, these make beautiful stand-ups if you want a display piece. Beautiful for Mother's Day. And I did use the 8x8. Your Craftology box includes the 12x12. So if you need more, grab yourself an 8x8. And you can create these with us. So we're going to have, and then I'll finish this. So on the 21st, we'll create the card box. And you can also give this as a lovely gift for Mother's Day so that hey, when we say Mother's Day, remember, it doesn't mean mother, because I know a lot of us, my husband's mother's gone. A lot of mommies are gone, and that's okay because somebody has a mother. You have daughters that have children. Wouldn't that be nice to give to her so she could just pull out a card when she needed to send to someone? I'm going to make the envelopes because I love envelopes. You can actually get 2 cards in there. Anyway, wonderful, either Mother's Day, birthday gift. Instead of a bouquet of flowers, you've got yourself a box of cards. And I'll get it all finished so it's super pretty because we're going to put ruffles on here and some fun things. But I've got something exciting to show you. I think it's exciting. And I'm going to show you first with the older line. I won't go through it because you've already seen what's cooking, but you have not seen what's cooking in 6x6. So now paper collections are going to be not just 12x12 and 8x8. Yes, even these 6x6 tags will be printed. Everything will be printed now in 3 sizes: 8x8, 6x6, and 12x12. Now, one thing you're going to notice, we moved up to a heavier vellum, so the paper is a little bit heavier. I think it's at the perfect. I love it. It's perfect to me. The weight. So the vellum is this. The new weight. And okay, vellum has odd weights, and I know a lot. I've had some emails saying no, it's not. Yes, it is. And if you don't want to blame me, call the printer. The other vellum was an 87. This is a 93. Vellum is weighted different. It's not always see-through. This is a vellum watercolor paper. So yes, for your you need small pockets, but you want more graphics, but you don't want it to be like overwhelming, hit you in the face. So I went ahead, and the 6x6, what's cooking, will be available on Sunday along with these others because the what's cooking is just a classic. And it still is selling like crazy. So it has so many uses. But you'll notice the plaid smaller in the back, which is really nice. Not only for cards, but you want to use it for your tags and inserts. So you've got a smaller print. And I'm not going back and printing them all in 6x6 because some of the holiday, and we're coming out with so many new ones. But we didn't have one done for Sally to show. And Tanya has not had time because I just picked it up an hour ago. And so the first of the year, a lot of images and graphics fell out of copyright due to the copyright law. It's past its time. Winnie the Pooh has come out of copyright, except for Winnie the Pooh's red shirt. You still have to be very careful because, there's other companies that own copyrights, but Mary Cassatt, and I know I'm not saying her name right. She was an artist. She is an artist, but these are very, 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 very old images. So along with A Mother's Love, we have Love You Forever. So again, I can't wait. It's going to be 6x6, and it will be on sale Sunday. And 6x6, 2 sets of tags. Well, those are little tags. These are cut aparts in 6x6. And so smaller images, as you can see. I actually shouldn't have put my light right on here. Yeah. I won't go through because we're going to go through the other images. But here's your 6x6. Then you're going to get an 8, or you can choose an 8x8. I'll just fan through the 8x8 again. These are a great size, but the tags are all sized down for the size paper pad. Now, in the 12x12, you're still going to get the tags that are pre-cut for you. You'll get a set of those. But Mary you can look her up on Google, was the artist, and her images came out of copyright. And we thought Mother's Day, women, mothers, it doesn't have to be, a mommy. I've actually had emails saying, how could you create Mother's Day papers? I don't have a mom. Well, somebody's got a mom. You had a mom, and I'm sure you got some beautiful pictures. And so we went with Love You Forever, because this is going to be absolutely beautiful with any of those, even black and white. I meant to grab some of my black and white images so that you could see the colors. It was the brightness of the colors that really will bring out your black and whites. 6x6, 8x8. So let me leave those there. Aren't they cute? I love the 6x6. So let's get started. And then we will be putting the colors together, but I'm going to be using my olive green. Love the olive green with Love You Forever. Again, you only get one in the collection kit now because yes, Heart of Courage was printed on vellum. It's a watercolor paper. It does feel different, but it's still vellum. It was printed. You'll get a set of these already punched out. So this format, I have the die for. Still working on the other dies. All right, let's just turn this baby. There we go. Got too much glare going on here. And that is actually a velvet green. Hi, Linda. Isn't that just gorgeous? Sunflower strips down here. So designers, if you're watching, this did not go out in your packages because we did not. Oh, I didn't show you the back. I did not have it, but it's going out Monday for you. So here's your cut apart with the back. So I hope we've got some designers out there watching, because this is coming separate from your design team package. For those of you who asked for it. Yeah, so when you get it, don't, and again, you've got your smaller images, so kind of give you a size breakdown here. I'll just show you on the one. So there's your images. So Tanya, we're going to have the 6x6 size now. In the back. So this would be a gorgeous baby album. Especially if you don't know the baby, if it's a boy or girl. This I can just really see a maternity album, a baby album. I made a maternity album many years ago with Heartfelt Creations, and I think it's time to make another one because this is perfect. Or any one of our designers that's, if they're expecting a baby in the family, this would be a great project, maternity album. And there's mom or grandma, or basically you've got just looking into the images of her with her child. Look at the texture on there. You can almost feel it. I love it. Hi, Julie. Isn't it gorgeous? Again, black and white photos. with this yellow background. It's actually golden, just beautiful. Again, you can texture, did a beautiful job. Look at the redhead. Then we have the solid in the back. Her renditions of Mother and Child, if you do go in and do, some studying and looking at the artist Mary, you'll see that you'll see a lot more of her paintings, and they are just breathtaking. And some of them you might even recognize, because that's a pretty famous one right there. Well, they're all pretty famous once you start really researching her. And the colors, they're amazing. Again, there's that vintage wallpaper coming through, torn on the sides. Just imagine finding them in the paintings in the old house. Love this with the sunflowers. And you have that sunflower border on your cut aparts down here at the bottom. And there's those sunflowers. Kind of more like what is that little sunflower? A daisy sunflower. It's not quite as big. My husband grows them. They do have a different name out here in Utah anyway. So again, can you just see a maternity album? I need to get out my old hard drive because it has I made even the forms. If you go look on my YouTube, it was like 7 years ago. And I made a maternity album that has your doctor's visit, Black-Eyed Susan, yes. Doctor's visits and all that cute stuff. I need to get with Molly and see if she'll redo those for me, because it would be really fun. I did them in the cute pinks and cute, but we need more of a, we need to match this, because I just can see, tracking your doctor's visits and then leaving this. It'd be such a beautiful keepsake to leave to your child or give to them on their wedding day. So that is the 12 by 12, and Sunday it will go on sale. And I will get these also sent out to you, Julie. The 12 by 12, the 8 by 8. I'm telling you, the colors just, love it. We needed some bright colors like this. And the 6 by 6. How fun is that going to be to work with? Lots of fun, I'm telling you. So I'm going to set this aside so we can now work on our waterfalls. Okay, that was fun. I love showing that one. I'm so excited to pick it up. But I know you also want to see this waterfall. So we made this, if you remember, in the tutorial, and some of you have already finished your tutorial. You guys are fast. And, well, when I start teaching things, sometimes I make it too complicated, and that's what had happened here. So we're going to uncomplicate it, and then those of you that I left really confused, I hope this is going to help you so much. I think it will. In fact, my husband was amazed. He wants me to make one with pocket that he can slide his tool cards in and have in the garage and pull down. I'm like, okay, we can do this. All right, so we're gonna make, let me show them to you first. We're gonna make 3 different styles, okay? And I am going to start with one that has 6 to really, once you see, it's very simplified. So if you're bored, then you can, like I said, next week we'll work on the album again, but I need to put this there to hold it down. So this is going to simplify this. We don't have a lot of extra parts or pieces, nothing. That's what I think is so cool. So we're going to start with the one that has 6 first. Then we're going to go on to the one that has 12. And this is very similar to what we made before. If I can get my finger. But what happened was, this isn't the one that was before. This is the 7x5 because I did have a request to show it so you can put it with 5x7 pictures. Now, if you have your orientations horizontal this way, that works great. Maybe you want it to be this way. Problem is you got to be able to hold this down. And so now you can turn this sideways and have your 5x7 photos. So this would be so good in a wedding album. So 5x7. I'm going to show you this one because you will have an add-on piece, but I'm going to show you how easy it is so that nothing gets stuck and you just want a nice smooth working mechanism, right? Then maybe you want 12. So this is going to be the 12, but with a cover. So that was the request I had. Can you make it with a cover? Oh, absolutely. So here's my cover. It has just a cute little flip like this. This is the 12 like we made last week. And I probably confused everyone. And like I said, it has to be put down. But again, you can have it go either sideways or you can pull it down. So you do not have to put this in your book as a, pull down waterfall. It could be a side pull page. That's what we can call it. And this one would close like so. We got some repetition. So I hope it doesn't get boring, but we're going to start now with the 4x6. And that was with the 6 4x6. So I did get everything cut and I've got 4x6 pieces. So that was the other thing the question was. So I can I wrote down the questions here so I can answer them as I go. How do I know where to start scoring? Let me show you. How do I know where to start scoring if I'm using the 4x6, the 5x7? You could even go 8x8. You can make this as big as you want. Where you start scoring at is the size of your waterfall. Okay. My waterfall is 4 inches by 6. So I'm going to start at 4 because I want the back piece to be the same size as my waterfall. And I have 6 of them. So you'll see when I have more how the scoring changes. And I like 1/4 inches. I just think they really work well. So we're going to start at 4 inches. And then I need a 1/4 inch. So 4 1/4. And in between those 2 score lines on that gusset, that's where my waterfall sits. So there's one waterfall. There's 2 waterfalls, and I'm scoring in 1/4 inch increments. There's 2 of them. There's 3 of them. When I say there's 3 of them, there's 3 gussets. I have full gussets in between. So now I can put down 3 waterfalls. Maybe I just want 3 waterfalls. That's where I would stop. But I want 6. So I can't see. Let's go to 5. Yeah, 5. Thought we could see the darker paper better. So there's 4 waterfalls. I'm in Braille here. I'm filling with my fingers. Yeah, 4. There's 5 and 6. So I've got 6 full gussets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to turn it over. And I found turning it over and rescoring on every 1/4 inch just makes the waterfall work better with the artisan because you've already broken the fibers. I'm actually doing it a third time. Okay, so now I'm just going to start rolling it because I found out for me, it works better if I don't burnish on my score lines yet. I'm going to burnish them after I put my papers on. Now you can burnish it before. I just am liking the way it turned out better. I've got something in there. So I need to start here because this is 4 inches and this is 4 inches. Hi, Sherry. So I'm just going to add glue. And this does take a little bit of time because we have to let things dry. And you really don't have to, I'm not even going to use the side of my scoreboard to line it up because it should line up if you cut them at 6, the same as your paper. Oh, thank you. And it should be fine on the sides. Or you can line it up with your scoreboard. And we're just putting glue in between each gusset, or in the center of each gusset. Oops. I'm sorry, it's Wilbur's nap time, so you probably are hearing him snore. And we're just going to move up the top. And I do prefer glue for this. I do think it holds better when you start pulling down and making it work. Score tape might work itself off. That dog, him and his snoring, he needs a CPAP. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Okay, who can hear him snoring? Lay it right on top. And one more. And because it is glue, we're going to just burnish this with our pushing down and let that dry. And I'm going to cut, well, I've kind of got the 2 strips. Again, it doesn't really matter what thickness your strips are, but I'm going to, when it gets bigger, I'll show you why. We're eventually going to go bigger and bigger with our strips. See how much bigger I went? And the reason is that's going to be giving us coverage over seams instead of another piece of paper. So you need them to be 12 inches. We'll be cutting some off like I did in the other video. But again, this is not at all going to be confusing. Okay. Waterfalls down here at the bottom. I'm just going to fold this to the back. That was the longer piece. I'm going to burnish that. And here's what I want to show you. So now this piece is longer. And you can leave it that long if you want it for a pole. And I'll show you, you can leave it or you can cut it. But first, because I didn't burnish my score lines, I need to do that. I'm going to make sure we're dry, being gentle. I'm just going to push that one down. I don't know how dry this one is. I'm kind of worried. Okay, it was dry enough. There we go. I've noticed doing it this way, it does take a few extra minutes because you got to be gentle, but it has kept it straight. Before, I was getting them off a little bit. I'm happier with this, and I knew it was off because when I cut the paper to fit to put on the back, it was crooked. And it wasn't that was crooked. It was how I burnished those little 1/4 inch score lines. 1/4 inch score lines can be really hard to burnish and keep them perfectly straight. Uh-oh. I got a little bit of glue there. Oh, well, Sally is just now texting me saying, what's popping? I'm live. Apparently she didn't read the memo. So hopefully now she missed the new paper reveal. All right. I got some glue there, but you're not going to see it. Okay. Remember, be gentle. And when you get to the last one, it'll lay flat, completely open. So let's do it again. Trust me, taking the time to do this and to really flatten it. And if I'm only using Artisan, is going to be worth this extra. What's it taking us? 3 minutes? See, it's already, I can feel the fibers loosen, and it's turning nicely. Okay, so your waterfall is built to this point. It won't do anything because this little guy here is our mechanism. That is what we need. So we're going to just flip this open. Super simple, not complicated like before. We're not going to sandwich it. We're not doing any of that this time. I'm not even measuring. I am just laying this across. Making sure there's no glue this time out there. And we're going to flip this over, flip this around. Okay, find something, well, unless you're really comfortable with it, put something there so you don't make it too tight. I made one of the others a little too tight and I was sad. You just don't want it tight. That will help give it a little bit of a rounded edge there. And this guy almost reaches, but not quite. So I'm just going to cut a piece off. Is that type of, oh yes, this is linen. This is our own Artisan cardstock, and this is linen, and it even has a linen texture. It's much different than regular scrapbook paper because it's long fibers. It's not made with recycled. There are no recycled fibers. That's why it's solid. And when you score it, that's why it doesn't crack and break. Other papers are recycled unless you're buying my colors. It's a long fiber also. And what happens with recycled fibers that are not, when I say long, it means it's the whole fiber. It hasn't been chopped up in a blender per se. You know how you remake paper. And so there's nothing to break. I mean, like a recycled paper, because you don't know where those fibers land. And that's why paper cracks. There's no reinforcement there. This is long fibers. And it is linen, so it does not have the cracking that you're going to find with regular scrapbook papers. And you aren't going to score, well, unless you're heavy-handed. I tend to be heavy-handed, and you don't really puncture the paper as much. Okay. Now I'm going to use my temporary glue here to help me anchor it. Okay. Because that'll wipe off. Now I'm going to anchor it like so. This pull down, this is longer. So if you want to leave this longer, you can. And see how easy that is? So much easier. Or you can cut this so it looks like a 1/4 inch at the bottom. And that is what I did on this one. And then I just put an additional pull tab. So this was long like this, and I cut it to a 1/4 inch. Left and made a pull tab just with my papers. It's the same, or you can leave it like here, and then that would be a really nice pull tab. And I like that. So when it comes out, look how easy. I know. Isn't that a lot easier than adding extra papers and putting another back on it? Now you're still going to want to mat this. Actually, you can mat it before or after. It doesn't matter. I can still mat this because I can slide that paper right underneath there. Well, hello. You missed Sally. Do you want to know what you missed? Do you want to know? We also had an announcement, Sally. Look at it. All right, let's show Sally really quick. 6 by 6, Sally. 8 by 8. And 12 by 12. Do you love it? I mean, it's fresh from the printer. Yes, papers will be printing in 6 by 6. We already I redid what's cooking in 6 by 6. Look how cute those little images. Okay, so there is just your normal waterfall, and you're going to be able to put this together really fast. 6 by 6. 6 by 4 with your 4 pages. Wasn't that a lot easier? Yes. Yes, Mary. Yes, you know her. Okay. Let's do one that is 7 by 5, because again, you might want 7 by 5 photos. You're going to do a bigger album, and you want the same nice, smooth working mechanism. And this one has 1, 2, 3, 6 pages. And so, like I said, if it's feeling monotonous to you, I'm sorry, but I just want to make sure I got everybody's questions answered. And I'm going to be using these waterfalls too. So now I've got them all pre-made, right? So I'm going to start with, this is going to be 7 inches wide. See how much bigger it is? No, you don't score anything, Rena, and I'm going to redo it now. The only thing that you score is this. We don't have to score these no more. Yes, I can send you a movable prototype. I'll send you these 3, Sally, along with the papers. So 7 by 12. Now, these are 7 by 5. And like I said, you can go bigger, and I'll explain it on this one. I'm going to make sure I've got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have 6 5 by 7s. Again, where do you score? That was one of the questions. How do I know when to score? Where do I score? Where do I score? Here's where you score. This is 5 inches. So I'm going to start at 5 inches. And once again, I have 6. So I'm going to score at 5 and 5 1/4. So there's my first gusset. That's 1 waterfall. 5 1/2. There's 2 waterfalls. 5 3/4. And 6. This darn paper, I thought it would be so easy to see, and it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, it's the gussets. You're counting the gussets, not the score lines. Just your gussets. So I went from 5 to 6 1/2, and that gave me, I'll put them up again so you can see it. Get a good angle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I have 6 spaces for waterfalls. Oh, let's turn it over. Again, we're going to score at 5, 5 and a half, 5 3/4, 6, 6 1/4, 6 1/2. Okay. Maybe you only wanted 4 waterfalls. That's okay. You're still starting at 5, and you're only going to score enough to have, say, 4 gussets. You want 3? Same thing. You're still going to start with the 12-inch piece. You trim it after, or you fold it up to make a cover like I can show you on the next one. But you just want to, no matter what size, if this was 7, I would have started at 7, and I would have scored that way. Now, that would mean I do have to add paper, but you'll be able to see how I do that on the next waterfall. Well, we have to add just a little bit on this one too. Oh, and one more time. So I do a total of 3 scoring if you're using artisan cardstock. If you're using your own or my colors or something that doesn't have this on the back, test it first, because I don't know what it'll do for you. So again, we're going to just roll it. I am going to, this time, this one's bigger. I'm just going to do the 2 ends. I'm just going to roll it from there. Just make sure everything, there we go, rolls. And it rolls nice. You'll know when you're playing with it. I know it's harder to see because you want it. There we go. You want every one of those to bend, just like a roll top desk. Okay. So my 5-inch side is to my left. That's where I'm going to start. And the same technique, glue in between. And you're just going to set your waterfall on top, just to the top of that page, so it's to the score line, not over it, of course. This time I'm going to wait and make sure I clean up all my glue. So nothing sticks. With this waterfall, you really can't hurry this. So make sure, number 1, you either make your waterfalls first when you're not so hurried, or when you have the time. They turn out so much better. And that's what happened after we did the waterfall for our Spring Awakenings album. I realized, I was feeling too much in a hurry, and I totally made it more difficult than it was. Oh, Spring Awakenings. Let's talk about that for a moment. The 12 by 12, if you have it on order, it is printing. We had some that we didn't realize the color was off, and so I just got back from the printer when I picked up the other, and we realized it. So if you're waiting for Spring Awakening, it will go out Tuesday. They are reprinting that 12 by 12, and so I had quite a few orders, but it will go out the first of next week. Sometimes it happens. Then it's better to just print the whole lot. See, and you'll be able to see better on yours how much nicer this waterfall is. And now, along with Michelle Allen, if you have followed Michelle Allen's stacked waterfall method, creating waterfalls, and it's called Waterfall Frustration, is totally a thing of the past if you follow these. And let's see. Okay. Also, designers, are you out there that just got your orders? I know Jen is. I need to talk to you on the Tim Holtz. Yeah. There was some stuff that for the designers got messed up. Yeah, I love the green too. This is the olive green, military green, army green, what it reminds me of. Yes, I am I'm putting them between the score line, right between it and up to the next one. So right between it, don't go over it, just so it barely touches. Fold the top to the back. And this is the one you're going to notice. It's short. And that's okay. It's short. Where my big one go? And I don't want, this is one of those Tim Holtz I took from his package there because it made a great pull. And here's my seam. So I'm going to show you how that works. You're not going to have to put a bunch of paper down like I did before, because we're going to use a 3-inch band on this one. And the 3-inch band is what's going to take care of any problems that you have. So, but we've got to add to this because our waterfall is 6.5. So measure it. And these are 1/4 inch. So I want it to be 6 3/4. So now I do need another piece of paper. First, I'm just going to cut my 3-inch piece. This is also a bigger waterfall, and I need more. So think of this strip as your anchor, and I need more of an anchor. It's a bigger waterfall. So the bigger the waterfall, the bigger the anchor, but you can't really go past 3 inches the way your waterfall mechanism is. And so we're working with a 7-inch wide waterfall, and you don't want it to be a full 7. So stop a hair before. And then we said 6 3/4. And again, I just wanted a hair short of 6 3/4. So I want it to fit on the inside of this back piece. So again, it's 7 inches by 6 3/4. And then when I turn it over, see how it's placed perfectly there? So turn this to the back, and let's add adhesive to the smaller piece, the piece that's too short. And mine is about an 30-second hair, just a hair. Let's not do 30 seconds and 8. So it's just a hair from the top. So it looks good at the bottom. There's my big one. And when I turn this over, see, it just looks, it looks like it's just another add-on, right? But you do have a seam here that can cause problems. And so we want that 3-inch piece. Thing to remember is always flip this open. See, this piece is now going to cover that. So the bottom is not going to get stuck on this. It's going to sit here, but let's cover the top. I mean, let's close the top and make sure that this does not, you don't want it to stick out the bottom, right? But you want it to cover the seam. So just cover that seam. And that looks good. Now the glue goes on this side. I'm just going to close the top. Adjust it where needed. And now you can see this is heavier. So this is going to be more of an anchor because it's 3 inches. But I can't go any wider. Otherwise it will get in the way of my gussets. So it's closed. So I don't have the seam back here anymore. I have a seam right here, and you can cover this. So I would just cut a piece of a cardstock to cover it. But for the video, I'm not going to, because you can cover it after also. Now we can go through and bend our pages back. It's like, it feels like I'm bending my fingernail back. It's really odd. I did wait extra this time to make sure everything was dry. And so now you're burnishing those 1/4 inch score lines. Just pull it down. Don't be afraid to pull it, as long as we've let it dry. And you have, there we go. Do it again. Remember, artisan, you gotta burnish it. None of that light-handed stuff. You want this to be sharp. Okay. Nothing shows. It looks great. Let's go ahead and bend this to the back. Again, just grab something so you don't bend it too far down. Scissors, whatever you have that's semi, flat. So we've got quite a space there. So let's just cut another 3 inch piece. I'll leave it that long. So I cut a 3 by 5 1/4. Doesn't have to be that long, so I'm going to cut it down to 4 3/4. Is that our adhesive? Again, if you remember on the original video, we put more paper on the back. We added more on the front, and it was just not necessary. And it's not even necessary that these are perfectly straight in the back, unless you're OCD. But we don't want glue underneath there. And again, let's let that dry for a second. This is just temporary. So let's try this out now. Again, it is kind of short. I would definitely put a pole on there. But look at that. Nothing is catching, not even here. This band that we put around the back took care of all of that. Isn't that so easy? So much less stress. Now, if I wanted to mat this, then I would just cut a 7 inch piece. So let me just cut this from I'm just using my cover sheet here. And I'll cut it 6 7/8, and 5 is all I'll need. Now, like I said, you can go ahead and You can mat this before you put it down, or you just glue it. You'll just add it on. Yeah, I love it when things that we always thought were so difficult aren't. See, because you don't see it there, so you don't have to have that. And then if you want to put a pull tab, you can do all kinds of things for your pull tab. You can do it underneath the paper, or you can do it on top of the paper, just something that sticks down. Just add your glue and then add it there. And there is your bigger waterfall. Now, if you turn it to the side, I'll just turn this. It can sit in your book this way. And then you've got your vertical 5x7 photos. Okay, there's the big one. It's super easy. Okay, now let's make an even bigger one like we did in the original album, where there's 12. But for this one, I am just going to do it a little different and show you how to do the closure. So if you want to have the closure on the top, and this is also my pull. So if you were late, get my hand down there, this becomes the pull. If you want 12, it's hard to do it this way. So there's the 12. You've got a pull, and then you've got a closure. Again, we're just going to start with, oh, this is going to be 4x6. So I'm keeping it the same size. So if you have not gotten to the book yet, and you want to make the one for the book, but I was too confusing to you, this is how you'll make it. Okay, we're starting again. My waterfall is 6 inches wide, so you're always going to start 6x12. Or no, well, no, not 6x12. It's always 12 inches long, and then however wide your waterfalls are, they're 4. So we start scoring at 4 again. But we have 12. Yeah, we're making a big one. So we're going to start at 4 and 4 1/4. Okay, there's my first one. I just need to let my daughter know. She keeps texting me that I'm live, so she'll probably pop in. So 4 and 4 1/4. There's my first gusset. So that's one waterfall, right? There's 2, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. So there's my 12 gussets for my 12 waterfalls. Now when I score it again, I'll give you the measurement. I mean, give the score marks. 4, 4 1/4, 4 1/2, 4 3/4, 5, 5 1/4, 5 1/2, 5 3/4, and 6, 6 1/4, 6 1/2, 6 3/4, and 7. And yes, I do it. There's something there. I do it again, like I said, the third time. It just makes it less fighting with this 1/4 inch gusset. And yes, if you have these, you probably can't see it. They shed at first. And this is a newer pencil. Love the pencils, but they do shed. So let's just do the first one. And I'm not using a tool to burnish it at this point. Now I'm just going to roll it. There you go. And just, make sure that it has started to fold. I just want it to start. So it gives me that rounded look. I do sell the scoring tool. It is the Dress My Craft pencil. And actually, you'll see how many I have because I absolutely love them. I don't like to not, but let me show you the different points. This one's still really new. So when you get it, it's up to you. I take my fingernail file, and I just haven't done this one yet, and I round it. They're kind of really bendy in the beginning. This one there, it just needs a little sanding down. Then they'll get kind of like this, and you actually can reshape them if you need it a little bit sharper. My husband will take it out to his sander and he'll sand it. Now I've even put him in a pencil sharpener, his big one. And yes, you can do that. And then you'll just have to smooth it with your file. But they do wear down, and you're going to notice, see, the size starts to go down because they are a plastic, but they're really, I love them. They're really awesome. And actually, I love their bone folders like this because look at this. It has, I mean, they're really awesome tools. I have them all. And then this is, I consider this my heavy duty, the EK Success. I can't score with it. I've noticed some of the designers can. I cut the paper, it's that sharp, but it really puts some pressure on the paper. Oh, thank you, Sally. So we're just going to start in the middle of my first gusset. Remember, 4 inches is where my 4 inches goes. If this was 8 inches, my 8 inches would be down here. And I think this is going to really simplify it because I know for me, I don't even have to look back at my notes and see what I did. It's now a no-brainer. I know just to score the width of my waterfall. And then I know there's no more sandwiching. There's no more, you just put that on the back and you fold. Hi, so far, fabulous Friday for sure. And if you're in the Country Craft Creation Zoom group and you have your Zoom pass for cropping, Zoom crop, we're meeting at 5:30. Yeah, I'm heavy-handed with that one too. But I love it to really put pressure on after, I call it kind of like my finishing work. It's definitely not for scoring with. Again, just stay in that line. And just right to the score line. Anyway, I started to talk about Michelle's stacked waterfall. Again, you need to watch her video. She has a video on it. Michelle Allen, just go to Michelle Allen or go to Country Craft Creations up into the about and you'll find the designers. And if you've got the Craftology box, Sandy is teaching her method on the Craftology box this month. And this month's sold out. So our next one will be June. But Sandy has done a beautiful project and she uses the stacked waterfall in there that Michelle created. And again, you're just taking 3 pieces of paper and you're making a huge waterfall and it's simplifying it. And it just takes away the tears of a crooked waterfall because there is no crooked waterfalls with hers. Or this one, everything just comes out so aligned and I love it. And I did shy from waterfalls because I just didn't have the patience to constantly make sure they're square. Not no more. Now, in the beginning, so I'm going to let this dry for a minute. I was explaining, my husband saw this and went nuts. So I'm putting plastic sleeves on his where he can slide in like a recipe card holder because he keeps categories of his tools out in his work area. So he can pull it down and take his tool. Well, what he does is he makes his sons take a card when they take one of his tools. And, you know, fathers get to be that point because their sons don't like to return his tools. And yet they make fun of us when we don't want them to touch our scissors. Yes, Tanya has already made that craftology project, and the waterfall just simplifies it from Michelle Allen. Okay, let's stay in the gusset. Yeah, just watch your glue. You don't want it to be on this waterfall piece. Okay, in about 35 minutes, of course, I did have everything cut. 35, 40 minutes, we've created 3 different pull down waterfalls. And I don't know about you, but they used to take me a lot longer than this to make one. With putting the back piece on, with sandwiching the brace in between, with, you know, so much easier. Uh-oh. You know what? Either I cut too many or I didn't score enough. Let me see. Oh, nope, he was extra. I was going to say, if you happen to put this on and you realize you didn't score enough, you're just going to put this in the board and you're going to score again and add another one on top. How easy is that? So say I had, this was sitting there, it would be the 13th, which I could put it in there. I would just score again, a 1/4 inch glue, and add it on top. How simple is that? Okay, we're going to fold this to the back. And this is super short, as you can see. And in all honesty, you could leave it short and just bring down a long pull tab. Depending, like if I was doing a haunted house, I probably would do that with an old tree trunk to make this look like an old tree. Bring it down here as my pull tab, you know, and have Sally the witch pop out, and then all this beautiful stuff in the back. Wouldn't that be cool? So yes, you can get very creative with these this way because you don't have things in the back interfering. Okay, push down. So you're basically pushing it forward. Watch. And push it over. You'll feel it start to bend. And push that one down. Push this one down. Just let that one do its thing. See, watch. Hold this, but push this one down and it will go. If you're struggling with that. Yeah. Push this down. Don't try and pull this because it isn't going to happen. You're going to rip your thing. See, I'm actually moving the mechanism. You'll feel them kind of the crawling of the mechanism. So I'm pushing. Sherry, I love you. Just remember, Sally does not. Sally will only use you to cast spells. I'm warning you. And down we go. Oh, that went really nice. Okay. You can see your lines back here. No, I love you, Sherry. Sally doesn't. So take your time again and remember to go back over it, you will be so much happier. And it's cool. You can see it moving down as you're pushing your pages. And that tells you right there, it's working. Okay, we are. Oh, no, we got a couple more to go. This is a big waterfall. Okay. So there's my 12. And see, this is where, see how cool it needs to be like a, you can actually take this and shape it. So you could have that become that tree trunk, you know, put the haunted house on here for Halloween. Super cute. Many ideas. So 6 inches wide, but we need to make this usable for us right now. So you're going to grab a sheet of your cardstock. And again, I'm just going to leave mine 12 inches. And you're going to be able to play with this. And you're going to be able to decide how you want your pull down to work. But again, I need this to be just a little bit smaller than 6. And pull back a little. That just makes it look a lot neater. So I'm going to turn this around and make sure it's not sticking out on the sides where I don't want it to. And you can see how long this is. So I'm going to go ahead now and just add this on here. No extra paper this time. Just that 12-inch piece. Also, do not go right to the top again. Just stay down a little bit. Now, this is going to be your pull down piece, but gosh, I don't want something that long. So now I'm just going to take your bone folder, not a bone folder, I mean a ruler or your spacers. I'm just going to fold that over. That's the bottom. Okay. I want it to come up over there. Up on top. Now you can leave it just like that as a closure, but I wanted to have it be more of a little flap like this, but you don't have to. So I'm going to score on this one 3/4 of an inch. I would use a small magnet. I used a big one on that one. Fold that over. You can do this also on any one of these waterfalls. See, it's smaller, so I would use a small magnet. I'll put one here and one there, but it would be small. I won't put it on here. I'm going to send this to Sally so she can do what she wants with it. Or you can also put a swing tab, anything you like, and then we need to turn this now into the pull down mechanism. And we don't have any seams except for right here to worry about. And on this one, once again, oh no, this one is the one you will want to put your pattern paper down first just to see. Make sure that you do cover that completely. So I'm just going to use my cover again and cut it at 5 7/8. I did try to use a larger mechanism on this, but what happened was it got in the way of these right there. So I'm going to use my temporary. I would glue it if I was doing this. Oh, I didn't tell you how long, did I? Mine comes out to be about 6 7/8 by 5 7/8. Just measure between that score line, and if you make a closure, and it doesn't have to go all the way to the top. You just want to cover this one seam right there, because you're not going to see this inch. Down that goes. And so I'm going to take my strip. I'm going to cut it 1.5 inches. Now it's about the width you can go and not get in the way, because you've got 12. You've increased the amount. And this right here is about the limit. Like I said, I tried to go even bigger to cover just the seams. We didn't have to do any papering, and it won't work. It stops your waterfall from properly working. It's 70 degrees today. It is so awesome, but it is warm. Okay. I'm going to turn it over. Same thing. Remember, you don't want this tight. So don't try and make it super tight, or it just isn't going to work. Make sure you have some slack there. And again, we need another little piece. Just use your scraps. So 1.5 and 2. I just need a tiny piece. Do take the time, no glue. Okay, let's use our temporary here. It does have to stick to something. So just pretend I would have a magnet. I would just use a little one. Grab this, hold this down, and look at that. Isn't that so much easier? Again, your waterfall does not have to sit like a normal waterfall. So say I just made myself a big 12 by 12 album, and I want this to be more of a page. So make it a page. It's getting stuck up here. Just make sure you have enough room on your project for the waterfall with 12. And again, you can take this even bigger. You can keep adding. You can add here, and you can make this bigger. You could make this waterfall 24. You can really make this a big waterfall. So I hope that this really made it easier for you guys. Do not, if you're doing the tutorial for here, don't watch how I did this. This was too confusing, because I really felt that we needed to sandwich the band, then we needed to add the extra papers, and I got turned around because I was adding too much paper to this. And after much thought, we don't need to add more paper. All we need is a simpler method. So there you go. There is your, let me clean off this temporary glue. There is your waterfall that can be used in the original tutorial. But again, if you want to do it right for the tutorial, you would just cut this off. Just cut this piece off. So you've got your one with the cover. So I'll get these mailed out with your paper, Sally. You've got just the normal one. And I hope this answered the questions on how do I make my waterfall different sizes. The only thing that changes is where you start scoring, like this big one, the 5x7. All you have to do is start at 5 instead of 4. I'll clean this off and I'll take off these papers. And I will mail these out to you, Sally. I don't own a cauldron. I have an angel bulb, Sally. The cauldron is at your house. But look at that, you guys. In an hour, we did 3. And talking. So easy. I didn't even make a mistake. Isn't that a first? So there you go. And there you go. How fun are these now? It just adds that extra element of movability in your albums. Plus, I have to tell you, this one's my fun. I love the 5x7. And I'm going to do a 6x8, probably an 8x6, because I have a graduation album I'm working on. And it needs to, you need to be able to showcase those big pictures. Well, thank you, everybody. And if you did just join, go back and watch the beginning, because I showed the other new paper collection that Sally did not have to show that is being put on the website Sunday the 10th. And so all those new papers will be on there. And then next week, because the frames are back in stock, they've already shipped. I'll have the frames and we'll go ahead and get this finished so that you'll know how to create this on the cover. And again, I saw a lot of you already did finish your album. And so I probably won't do a lot of the matting, because a lot of you, your pictures are great on scrapbookers, but we did mat our waterfall in the original one. So we'll definitely get the cover done on Thursday, the 14th. And then on the 21st, we'll move and do our cards. And our card holder that you can make for a gift. Let's see what we Sally, I need one for gift, and the other I'll put various. Do you want it to be this green paper, Sally, or would you like it to be a different color paper? You better tell me while I'm making them now. Oh, Sally will put various poses in one and send it back to me. Yes, you can make these in advance, Karen. That is a good point. Yes, you can make these in advance. I'm going to use these white ones I made in advance. And then when you're working on an album and you're like, oh, I really need something just to pop on that page, just grab one of these. They're going to fit in your file cabinets too. Just put them in there under waterfalls. And when you have some free time, just put them together. That's what's nice about these. And then you can store them, or, it'd be fun if you're in swaps to send one with the paper so the person can, decorate it themselves. So many fun things you can do. All right, everybody. I will see you next week, next Thursday, the 14th, and have a wonderful weekend.